recently I visited Bangalore and I saw Bhartiya Urban City, where I saw Leela Hotel ke baaju mein they are also running Leela service apartments, right? So when such big players get into service apartments where they are providing concierge service from the chauffeur, everything, do you see them as a competitor?
No, they're not competitors. They are enhancing our product proposition. So again, a service department is very different from a home. You go to Leela, you go to that place in Bharati City, you want to stay for 5 days, 7 days, maybe you take a serviced apartment which is serviced by Leela and you're willing to pay that extra premium. What if you want to stay there for 30 days and I get you the same space without the premium and say that, look, the housekeeping will not be from Leela, but it will be from the local ecosystem? You will say, okay, fine, it's 20% cheaper and I don't get bothered by a hotel-like service and it gives me more home-like experience and it's value for money. So, the category of service department and the category of home rentals are two different businesses, two different segments for the consumer. Any service apartment will offer you a lesser amount of space, in my view, because they're trying to monetize it at a commercial rate. And they will try to upsell services to monetize on the guest. That services can be housekeeping or chef on demand or whatever. When you book a home, you have the same sort of product, but you don't have a player who's just trying to upsell you all the time to monetize, because he's offered you a home. Now it's on the customer or the consumer to build the entire product as to what kind of comforts they want and what they don't want and how they want to save money. So a home is always a home, in my view, and it has to be micro configured by somebody who's staying there.
Right.
So that's where, I don't see that as a competition.
So one of the offering which I noticed in Jadecaps is interior design. So where you provide interior services, keeping in mind the functionality and the look and feel, but how do you make sure it will have that appeal to the guest perspective wise in terms of the kind of look and feel you're providing, the design wise in every property?
So it's very interesting how we got into this. So it's not something that we positioned ourselves, but consumers, again, property owners came to us that, look, we have this villa. Oh, we have to get interior done to give it to you. Why don't you do it? We said it's not something that we do, but let's figure something out. Again, as I said, data is the fuel. We looked at the data. What do customer want? Do they want a blingy villa with a lot of lights and mirrors and all that, or do they want a basic product which serves the purpose? And it all started from there. And then we made a presentation to the owner that, look, we believe we can do this at a rate which is half the rate what a traditional interior firm has quoted you. And we believe this will serve the purpose of the guest more than what that traditional will serve. Small example, you don't need a wardrobe and a huge cupboard in a holiday home. You're not going to carry so many clothes. You just need something small and functional. So that's how we sort of convince the owners that, look, this is our research and it works.
But does the price matter? Meaning what rental charges you will apply to the client, maybe depending on that particular way you would see
definitely.
The space.
The more money people spend on the interior, they have to recover it from the guest. Now, some guests are willing to pay, some are not. And it's a price sensitive industry. So we do our interior at a very, very cost efficient manner. And interior needs to be changed also. This is an industry where every 5 to 6 years, you need to redo the interior to relaunch the product. So, we don't advise spending too much in one go, and keep it light so that we are able to price better. And the key here is maintenance. You can put a very fancy stuff, but you need 5 people to maintain it. The cost goes up. You keep something light and simple, easy to maintain, easy to clean. And when the customer comes in, he needs a spick and span space. So, you have to look at the entire consumer journey of when the customer comes, what he wants to see first, what is his touch and feel, what is his interaction, what is he looking for when he comes here, and then design the space rather than just apply the traditional model. So the whole industry needs a new vacation rental interior approach, and we've sort of built that expertise in-house, Now we'll use data to sort of make it more commonplace and take it to the rest of the players, owners as well.
So, as a user, if I have to look for the property, I just have to come to Jadecaps website. Do I even see your listing in portals like Make My Trip or in any other portals?
Yeah,
Or?
you will see it all over. See, it's a distribution business. So we are in 40, 50 platforms put together in India and internationally. So people can discover us anywhere in TripAdvisor, in Make My Trip, in Agoda, Booking.com. And it's their choice whether they want to come to us and book directly or they want to book through the OTA. Sometimes the OTAs have deals running. Booking.com has genius programs. Some customers have corporate approval to only book through an OTA. So they typically will just book through the OTA and come. But there also we see the repeat businesses happening mostly direct, because the customer at the end of the day wants to talk to the property manager and the owner before booking and understand how the property is, what he needs to, whether it meets his specific requirement or not. And that's where the trust factor builds up. And next time when he comes, he just books directly on the website and comes out. That's how it happens.
So, what are the 5 key trends, if you have to mention to our viewers, which you will see happening in 2025 when it comes to vacation homes, and 5 key trends for your residential apartments?
Okay, so vacation rentals, I would say more and more newer places will have vacation rentals. Right now, Goa is huge, but we will see other new spots coming up.
Like those smaller towns.
Smaller towns. We'll see lot more country traveling to these smaller towns for vacation rentals. We will see more of last minute booking on vacation rentals. That trend has been huge. And so technically the place needs to be ready all the time. You can get a booking even at 10 p.m. in the night, group of family wanting to come or group of youngsters wanting to come. So Zepto of vacation rentals, you need to be ready all the time. Secondly, you will see a lot more economics coming into play in the form of cost analysis when people book vacation homes. So that means that pricing needs to be done more efficiently. It has to be definitely way cheaper than a resort or a hotel for a consumer to find a lot of value. Lastly, Instagram and digital video content is going to play a very huge role in how we attract customers. So a lot of marketing needs to be done and is already being done on Instagram for discovery purpose. So, OTAs only give you that much inventory on the first page and nobody goes beyond that. And that too static pictures. But people want to understand what they can do in that space, how they can enjoy there, and which is where, all this reels driven marketing is sort of coming into play. So that's gaining more and more importance.
The travel influencers and all have come
in vacation rental, and that influences the people to book a lot more. They directly reach out the operator and want to book directly. So that's on the vacation side, in my view, for 2025. Apartment rentals, again, a lot of key trends emerging. People, when they relocate, of course, they would want to stay in the area first to decide whether they want to do a long-term lease or not. So that comes a huge market demand that we are filling. Secondly, whenever people want to sort of travel with their family, if you're traveling with your parents or you're traveling with a pet or with kids, they look for certain specific amenities, whether you can arrange a nanny for us or whether you can arrange a cook for us because we need home cooked food. So it's going to get more and more customized offering on the urban side. Thirdly, people would not just restrict themselves to the main city. Like you said, you travel to Bharati city, which is not central Bangalore. Typically, it's a new area in Bangalore. So likewise, when people travel to Ahmedabad or to Bombay, they would explore more of newer areas through this urban apartment rentals. So that will take the load off a bit from the central areas, but people will also get newer experiences in that side. And lastly, I think hospital demand, which is people traveling for medical purpose with their family for longer stays, it's just the fatigue of dealing with the hospitals and then going to a very sort of mundane space of a service apartment. So a lot more people will explore apartments nearby. We right now we see that demand coming from foreign travelers when they travel for medical purpose. They want an apartment over any other thing, but we will see a domestic consumers also wanting for something similar as they discover that this is available, this is legal, this is flexible, and this serves the purpose.
No, I agree because quite interesting which you brought about the hospital part. Because in India, I'm sure the viewers, very few would know. I got to know through personal friend of mine. So in Kolkata, the major, transplant happens, right? And when it happens, what they do is the hospitals have a lot of tie-ups with service apartments. So if you have gone through a transplant, they will recommend you a service apartment which is near the hospital so the nurse can visit. And for 3 months, you have to stay there. And this was quite new and interesting to me to understand that this has been happening in Kolkata for a very long time. And no one has tapped into it the way the hospital and the service apartments are working there. So I'm sure even now, like I have noticed in Bombay for the cancer treatment and all. So the next thing should be, I think, where you as your company Jadecaps should also have a tie-ups with hospitals, right? Because it's a huge market itself where people, as you said, the family needs the right environment, the right care to be taken, also the hospital to be nearby. It is very important wherever the treatment is happening. It's like a minute across. So do you think this will become the next important factor to touch upon, especially when it comes to 2025, the tie-ups with hospitals happening?
Yeah, so we've already been in discussion with a few hospitals. Now there again, you have again consumer pockets of consumer, the paying customer, those who want a very budget place, those who are just want comfort, they're not price sensitive. So when somebody is trying to book a residential apartment, he needs to be on the little higher end of the spectrum because he's paying the rent plus the premium for the short term and this extra service. Then comes hospital-led serviced apartment, which are made to serve the purpose. They are basic, they serve the purpose, they're nearby. But does it serve the purpose of everyone? The answer is no. So again, the market will find different segment. We operate in the segment which is a 2 BHK or a 3 BHK residential apartment near the hospital. We have quite a few of those in Calcutta as well now, which is again, the moment we launch it, getting booked. So again, the hospitals have requirement for a custom built service apartment, which is more to serve a select segment of customers. Operators like us want to do apartments, which again goes with the DNA of the company, which is just to give you a home and you build it. You want to call the nurse? Okay, you can call it. You want to call the cook? You can call it. So again, we are supplying homes to consumers and we are not yet willing to offer serviced apartment to the customer because that's a very, very different offering altogether.